All right. Well, we'll get started just a moment as I hit all these fancy buttons that we have. Everything says we're good. Give me 2 seconds. I feel like I'm dying currently, so everybody, let's get into it. We're going to talk some fun, exciting things today. Just give us 2 seconds. Hey, I was going to drink that one, Geeks. You fucker.
I didn't know I could have waited. I already popped the top.
That's trash. You're terrible. Boo. Boo.
Terrible.
All right. I guess maybe it'll go live on Facebook here in a couple of minutes. But whatever. Let's fucking do it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to an episode of Hops News, a podcast where we talk about beer news, beer culture, beer industry, beer. You got the beers, we got the beers. We're going to talk beers. And I am Matt. Alongside me is Lauren. And if you want to find us, just search Hops News on any platform, any social media, all that good stuff. It's been hit or miss lately because, we've just been busy, man. We've just been busy. So, yeah, that's what we've kind of been up to. We got a fun episode. Going to be about a little short. We used to go an hour, maybe it'd be 30 minutes today. I'm still getting over COVID, to be honest with you. So I am tired as all belief. It's just a struggle to do anything lately. And yeah, so that sucks. That's what I've been dealing with the past week. It's nice to get back. I am drinking from Two Roads Brewing today, the Holiday Ale. But bam, the Holiday Ale. That's what I'm going to drink here today on this
Ooh.
episode. We're going to chat beer news. We're going to chat. I got the new beer trail maps for Idaho, which is some fun facts in there. A lot of exciting stuff. So, Lauren, what are you sipping on over there?
So I got a local beer here from 1010 Brewing. This is probably my favorite beer from them. They release it every Christmas. I think they actually released it this last July too, to be, Christmas in July.
Ho
And
ho
it's
ho.
brewed with Barney's coffee. So it's Santa's White Christmas Stout. It is quite delicious. And I love when you get like, I don't know, white stouts are always so fun because they're so like refreshing, but still so flavorful. And I have it in my bye, buddy. I hope you find your
Bye,
dad
buddy. I
glass.
hope you find your dad. That is good. That's too funny. Yeah.
Yeah, this one's delicious.
Well, I don't think we're going on Facebook for some reason, so that's okay. You know what? Nothing matters anyways. It's been fun. How have you been? I'm struggling. Apologize everybody. I am struggling. For whatever reason, COVID hit me like those old cartoons where like people get hit with anvils and stuff. That's about how I feel. I got sick last Wednesday, and then Thursday is really when it hit me good. And then I was
Mm.
out cold the whole weekend, and then even now it's just like I'm just so tired, so like I feel as though I haven't slept for 3 days. That's just the constant tired that I feel right now. Doing anything, I feel like I could just got done running about a marathon, and so it just hasn't been fun. I'm tired. I
Sucks.
haven't felt this tired in a while. It's kind of sitting there congested and things like that still. So that's my apologies if I'm kind of all over the place, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Lauren, speaking of run, you watched something that had to do with a run recently, didn't you?
I did. I finally watched the greatest beer run ever. We had Apple for a few days because of Spirited. So my husband was
Great
like, "Oh, have you heard
movie.
of this movie?" And I was like, "Oh, I had wanted to watch that." So if you're unfamiliar with it, it's starring Zach Efron. Russell Crowe's in it as well, and it's based on a true story about. And it was not exactly what I expected because I heard it was like this guy who does a beer run and brings soldiers in Vietnam during the Vietnam
Yeah,
War beer, and I thought that he was like working for a beer distributor and just trying to give these guys, a little bit of relief or a little bit of, something nice while they're literally at war. And it wasn't that. So I'll tell you the main
really.
premise. It was one guy in his hometown, and it was basically a few guys at a bar that are like, you know what, we should bring some hometown beer to our friends out there because they had a lot of friends because they were the prime age to get drafted, so they had a lot of friends that were out there.
Hmm.
And the one guy's like, yeah, because he worked on like a ship where he worked in, I don't remember, at the engine room or the gasoline room or the kitchen or whatever on these boats that would bring stuff to Vietnam and come back. So he's like, yeah, I can just get on one of those and work a shift, and we're at dock for a few days. And so he gets this great idea while they're drinking, and the next day he's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Meanwhile, like mothers and girlfriends of the soldiers who are over there, like, when you're there, please bring these rosary beads to my son, or please bring this clean pair of socks to my boyfriend. And all of a sudden he's like, oh my gosh, this is happening. So he literally brings one bag that he can carry full of PBRs to bring to like 5 of his friends. And
That
so
is
the
crazy.
story is him getting to them, and if he does get to them, and like
All
seeing really what's going on in Vietnam. And it was a really good
all that for a
movie. And
bag of PBR?
well, the
What?
funniest part of the movie, and this is the last thing I will say, because I really highly recommend watching it. And it's about more than just getting PBR to these guys. It's about the Vietnam War and things that were going on and whatnot. But he's telling, like, there's like a bar and it's full of like reporters, and he's telling the one guy what he's doing, and he's like, well, they can get beer here. He's like, yeah, not American beer. And then it pans over to some guy drinking a Budweiser. But it was, after I read it, I actually posted a little picture on Instagram, and my dad comments, oh, I have that book.
Oh
And I was
wow.
like, oh, well, I would love to read the book now. That's my next plan, is so that I can see how much artistic liberties they took in the movie and how much was accurate and how much
Oh,
wasn't.
probably so many artistic liberties. It's Zac Efron. Come on.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I saw pictures of I always love that. Anytime anything's based on a true story, I look forward to the end to see the real
Oh yeah,
people, and I love all that stuff.
I
Show me
do
the
too.
comparisons, everything. And there was a couple group shots, like there was a shot from Vietnam, and then there was a shot of all of them like a few years ago or recently that are still alive, because it took place a while ago, and obviously not all of their friends made it home. So really good movie. I think you and Jay were even talking about it before. I think I
Yeah,
might have heard it
I
from you
saw a
two.
preview. I do have Apple TV right now. I don't know why. I don't know why I
Spirited,
have all the. Well, no, not even that, because I can
Ted
get on my.
Lasso.
I couldn't tell you. We had it for free for a
Really
bit
like
because of
Apple.
our college, but there's nothing on Apple I really watch, so I don't know why we have Apple TV. It's
I think
interesting, but
our trial's already over.
yeah,
When Ted Lasso comes back, we'll get it again.
yeah. That I don't know why we have it, but we did use it to we did watch Spirited on there, which Spirited is a great Christmas movie for those of you who are looking for something different this year. It's a really great classic take on the Charles Dickens novel, and Scrooged, that is. Very, very good, starring Ryan Reynolds and, of course, Will Ferrell. Both fantastic in it, but it's got a lot of heart. So it's a very good holiday movie. Highly recommend watching that. And then just watch your normals, watch your normals. I did originally, by the way, crack open my homebrew, but I haven't been able to smell anything for a week, which is something you don't realize until there's like smells that you're used to having a strong sensation to, like a steak being cooked or movie theater popcorn for the 5 minutes I was at the movie theater today. And I was like, wow, I don't smell any theater popcorn, which didn't make me hungry, so I didn't buy it and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
I'm also not feeling good when I decide I don't want a Costco hot dog when I'm at Costco, and that just didn't sound good to me at all today. So
That's
it's
probably your body just telling you this is terrible. I shouldn't put this in your. And
it's
although
like I'm
I
still
will say, like,
alive.
I have not had a hot dog in 25 plus years. Never liked hot dogs, but the smell of the hot dogs outside Home Depot, they smell
Oh
amazing.
man, the Home Depot one. I don't know. Costco hot dogs just hit differently, and they're $1.50, so you can't beat it. But I have my taste is very diminished, so I was trying to drink my homebrew, but it was like I can't tell if like it's bad or I can't taste anything. So
Right.
I don't like I can barely
It's so
taste
much.
this beer right now, to be honest with you. So I don't really know. It kind of sucks. I did lose my taste. Lost that. I had 104 temperature, so that sucked, and
Ooh,
my body hurt like hell, and everything was awful. So that's kind of where I'm at. Interesting that it's still
I'm glad
this
you survived.
persisting. I'm not.
You're
After the day
still
it's
alive.
been, geez. But we have good news for our friends in Mexico, however. So Mexico has actually become the largest beer exporter in the world, and many of those big breweries are located in the north region there. Jesus God, I swear I can speak, people. So the a region now reeling from one of the worst droughts in decades, Mexico exported 42 million hectoliters of beer in 2021, according to the World Bank. Mexican brewers sold more than US $5 billion worth of beer abroad last year, And Mexican beer exports far exceeds those of Belgium, Germany, and the Netherlands. So Mexico, who knew beer was on there? You know, besides Corona and stuff like that. And was it Dos Equis? It's the other one. And I don't know if that's made there. I'm just assuming because they're always on the beach in their commercials with the interesting man in the world. Maybe that's me being a piece of crap, but I didn't realize that they were exporting beer as much as they were. That kind of beats out like all these big breweries that we have here in America. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I was surprised at that too.
I will say though, speaking of America, I do have here the new trail map for Idaho brewers. So the I helped out the Idaho Brewers United Guild today. I was like, "Hey, I see you're distributing all these new trail maps to all the breweries. I can take them to Mountain Home for you because I live there. I live next to the brewery." So she was super nice. There inside there are 86 total or I'm sorry, there's more than 86. There's 101 total breweries. The 101st brewery is Woodland Empire, and it starts with 10 barrel. They don't really count, but so you look inside. There's all these fancy things here, but some interesting stats that I found. So Idaho beer stats for us. The Gem State is the top producer of barley in the nation, and as of 2017, the number 2 producer of hops. You can add in cold, refreshing mountain water, and you have all these excellent beer ingredients, and that's why there's 88 Idaho breweries, and they're expanding. So the 100 said 101, but that's because some of them have 2 and 3 locations. So all in all, 88 total unique breweries in Idaho, which means that there's about 6.1 breweries per 100,000 adults. And then that ranks them the 12th nationwide per breweries per capita, which is pretty cool. So breweries have a $414 million economic impact in Idaho, and it has created 3,291 total jobs in Idaho. Idaho barley that produces both malt and feed varieties of this versatile grain. Although a majority is produced in the state, it's used for malting delicious brews. So per year, 43,600,000 bushels of barley are produced. That's the number 1 state in America. And then Idaho is the largest barley producer in the U.S., harvesting 520,000 acres and producing 43.6 million bushels in 2021. There are 102,390 barrels of beer produced in 2021 for Idaho.
And I feel like you need to sing that.
I know. And then in Idaho hops, Idaho is the second largest hops producer. It's harvested 9,694 acres, produced 18,414,000 pounds of hops in 2021. And most of Idaho's hops, nearly 75%, are actually grown in Canyon County, which is southwest Idaho. And the world's largest continuous hop farm is located in Bonners Ferry, which is northern Idaho. So that's pretty cool. And the top 5 hops that are actually grown in Idaho are Citra, Mosaic, CTZ, Eldorado, and Idaho 7. So it's pretty cool to kind of look at. It says why Idaho beer. In a state widely known for its potatoes, mountain summits, and whitewater rafting, a burgeoning craft beer scene can remain a well-kept secret with fresh-grown hops and barley within a day's drive of every brewery in the state. Here's your chance to taste brews made with the spectacular local ingredients by brewmasters dedicated to moving the industry forward. Pack this brochure with you on your craft beer quest to discover Idaho breweries and sample these beers for yourself. And then, of course, April is always Idaho Craft Beer Month, so every April they do something fun. But what this organization is actually doing in February is they do Destination Beer, which is up in McCall, around Lake Payette and things like that. So there's like 40 plus breweries that all meet up here in McCall, and they do Destination Beer, which is a 2-day beer festival, which is one that I'm going to try to go this year. It's right around Carrie's birthday, so we'll see how that goes. But
that's the last year you might be in Idaho.
Well, this is 100% the last year I'm going to be in Idaho. I'm 100% moving from Idaho by October of 2023. And so who knows where we're going to go. Could be worse, could be better. But part of me,
so crazy.
Reading this, it makes you kind of appreciate where I've been at for the last 3 years. So I would like to go there, get yours, if you happen to come to Idaho, lots of breweries for you. And that's kind of what I have.
Yes, actually, since you're speaking about Idaho, I'm just going to mention real quick Florida. If you're listening to this live on Saturday, is Florida Pint Day. And if you go to the
Ooh,
Florida Brewers Guild, you can actually see a list of all the brewers participating. And they're selling this adorable beer glass with flamingos on it and stuff that says like Florida Pint Day. And like $1 of it's going back to the Florida Brewers Guild, which if anybody doesn't know what the Brewers Guilds do, they advocate for the breweries, they
yes.
advocate for
They
the
fight for your
enthusiasts and the
rights.
consumers. They're the reason we have 64-ounce growlers again in Florida. Like, yeah, they're fighting for our rights to party. So you were correct. I did look it up. Dos Equis, Takata, and
Whose
Sol are all
vibrator's
produced.
going off?
It's the dryer. I like started the dryer and the dishwasher right before we went live. I don't know
Well,
what I
that
was
was a
thinking.
rookie
Rookie
move.
mistake. So all produced by a Heineken-owned brewery based in Monterrey, Mexico.
Oh wow.
I'm not
Well,
going to
look
try
at
to.
that.
Well, yeah, it's Heineken-owned Cuauhtémoc
Yep, you did
Montezuma.
great. Montezuma. We all got it.
Salute.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, we have some other beer news. Aslan opened a brewery in Tacksburg, so that's really cool if you're anywhere near that area.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Aslan's a pretty good brewery. Pittsburgh. That's Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I presume.
Yeah.
There is a Pittsburgh, New Hampshire. That's
So
why I
here's a.
ask.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
There is. Well,
Maybe I
spell
should
the
go
way you
double
spelled it in
check. I'm
the
pretty sure
spell
it's
you
Pittsburgh,
wait the way you spelled
Pennsylvania.
it in the document is spelled the way they spell it in Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, whereas Pittsburgh, PA has an H at the end. Just so you know.
Oh, I didn't know. Well, now I'm going to click on the
The
link and look
more
that
you
up.
know.
I just fact checked you. You know how many things I've learned on this podcast? It's
You
mind
learn lots of
blowing.
things. Well, while you're doing that, a little bit over a decade ago, Sam Adams actually saved some small breweries. There was a hop shortage that wasn't felt until 2007, so 2007. I don't know why I said it that way, but the origins of the supply chain issue trace back to the early 90s when hops were growing almost uncontrollably. The start of the 90s marked bumper crop yields, which quickly led to a worldwide surplus of one of beer's most essential ingredients. As such, hop prices had plummeted, so much so that it was no longer profitable for many hop producers to continue growing. Bad weather globally for hops and a fungus outbreak in the Yakima Valley, or Yakima, caused a
I think it's
decrease,
Yakima.
I think it is too, in hops for those that had stuck to the hop business. As a result, only Big Beer was able to get hops. So Jim Koch announced that the brewery would sell and distribute
Jim
approximately
Coke,
Coke.
you
Coke.
pervert.
I know. I'm struggling. Anyways, he announced that they would sell and distribute approximately 20,000 pounds of hops to breweries that would have otherwise been unable to get their hands on any, and he sold them at a cost. They did this until the hop market stabilized in 2009. So look at that. Massachusetts invented America and saved beer. You're welcome, folks.
And an Aslan brewery is opening in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, well, look at that. Pittsburgh, decent city. The Steel City.
You know, I've never been there, but I've heard amazing things. And I believe they even have a beer museum.
It is a small city, but they're most well known for Permane Brothers, which I highly recommend. Just saying, Permane Brothers, pretty
Which
good.
is also in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, right on the beach. Josh and I got married right in front of it. I think there's still pizza sauce on my dress.
No, they don't count. If you're not getting it in Pittsburgh, it
24-hour
doesn't count,
pizza.
man. Wait,
I've never gotten a sandwich there, but I had. So my friend Chad, who I went to law school with, he grew up in Pittsburgh. And so first time I was like, we're going to 24-hour pizza. He's like, not 24-hour pizza. This is Permanente
yeah,
Brothers. But
Permane
they're open
Brothers.
24 hours and they sell amazing pizza and they're right on the beach.
Interesting. The more you
Um,
know.
yes, but yeah, Chad was always like, no, you need to go to Pittsburgh one day. And I never have, but I've seen, he had like a gorgeous picture
I got a bunch of
in
friends
his
and family
office.
there. You're not missing much.
Well, the bridges and everything all look so pretty. I mean, he stayed in Fort Lauderdale. He's, went to law school in Fort Lauderdale and stayed. And then his mom moved down and a couple friends moved down and whatnot. So here's some interesting news. There is a beer made with olive oil extract in
Ew.
Spain, and it actually won an award at the CIAL Paris 2022 Awards as the most innovative alcoholic beverage. And what I thought was very interesting in reading this, the person who did it, they hadn't made beer before. So the guy who brewed it said, the idea came to me during an oil tasting session with some clients. He said, I make green oils with green olives, and I wanted to emulate the color of the oil in the beer. And while he had no brewing experience before, he thought that brewing a craft beer with olives would be an excellent chance to showcase the region's unique cultivars.
Cool.
The olive extract is added at the end of the fermentation of the beer because in this way it is better infused with the taste and aroma of the extract. I gotta say,
Hmm.
I love olive oil. I love green olives. Like, I'd be down to try this.
You know what? I would try it. I would give it a go. Why not, right?
Yeah, try anything
Yeah,
twice.
exactly. That is very exactly true. Well, let's travel to Vermont now, as Brewbound has named Fiddlehead in Vermont Brewery of the Year. Opening in 2011, our production increased dramatically over the pandemic, so it's been busy for sure, said co owner Amy Cohen. It comes at the end of an exciting year for us. This year, we just broke the top 50 craft breweries in the country, so the largest producers of craft beer across the country, said Cohen. So, congrats to them. Brewbound is named Fiddlehead in Vermont, which, if you've never been there, great brewery. And
I've
Vermont's
had
even
their
better.
beer, but I haven't been there.
I haven't been to the actual brewery either. Again, I haven't been home in 3 years now, so it's been a while. But their beer is fantastic, and I highly recommend that you get your hands on it. Pretty good place. So
So, a couple other things. I know we're going to make this a short episode. If anybody likes baking and wants something unique for this time of year that also involves beer, I actually posted this article on the Hops News page. So, if you want the full recipe, you can go to the Hops News Facebook page for a link from Beer and Brewing, and they make chocolate milk stout truffles. These sound
what?
amazing. I'm hoping it only involves a fourth a cup of milk stout to make 6 to 7 golf ball sized truffles. I think I might try this.
I might have to try this. I got plenty of milk stout. I don't know if it's any good because I can't taste it or not.
Aw. Well, so this is 8 ounces of bittersweet chocolate, a quarter of a cup of cream, a quarter a cup of milk stout, half a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, and half a cup of sugar.
That
That seems
seems
like
pretty easy.
easy enough. Yeah.
I have to bake a ton of cookies this weekend for work next week because we distribute them around the base. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll make some truffles.
Ooh, and here it said beer tasting notes. For the most interesting results, make a few batches and try a different milk stout in each. I like this.
Oh.
Think flavored milk stouts with some creative additions in the cocoa powder dusting. It said for straightforward stout notes, try left hand milk stout or Boise Brewing Dark Daisy chocolate milk stout from Boise, Idaho.
Oh, look at that. I can get that on deck. Would you look at that, brother?
Who would have thought?
It's
For a
supposed to snow
subtle
again
hint of
today.
extra flavor, try the spicy kick of King Harbor Choco Latte
Nope.
from Redondo Beach,
Nope.
California, or
Nope.
the sweet nuttiness
Nope.
of Belching
Nope.
Beaver Peanut Butter Milk
Don't you
Stout. Oh, I
dare
wish I could get
put
that.
spicy with my chocolate. Nope. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Think I can only get left hand milk stout.
Um, well, it's supposed to get a snowstorm tonight. It's supposed to snow until Tuesday, actually. So I don't know if I'll make it to Boise again tomorrow. But if I do, maybe I'll pick up the milk stout there and go to
Snowstorm. It
town.
was in the 80s today.
Yeah, well, we're
I
getting
heard
snow
some guy.
here.
I was at downtown Disney and I hear some guy like carrying his kid, and this was like peak heat of the day. And I hear him, I can't wait to get home to 35, 40-degree weather.
Yeah,
It
I can
sounds
relate to
terrible.
that. It was cold last night. We did the tree lighting last night, and man, my hands hurt. I couldn't feel my hands at all, but I'd much rather
Mm.
be freezing than in hot and sweaty. Ugh,
Oh, that's terrible.
gross. Well, yeah, I don't have any
But
other
I
beer
think that's all I
news. I
got.
think that's all we
I
have.
found,
So, what?
yeah, I had found an article that said like 50 worst beers, but it was literally all macro beers. So I don't even feel like it's worth
No,
going
it's
over.
not. Of course, they're all worse beers.
Yeah, it's like Old Milwaukee is 50 and it just gets worse and worse from there.
This
Beck's, Miller,
stinks.
Colt 45,
Oh yeah, no,
Labatt, Stroh's, Coors,
nothing good.
Bud Light Platinum, Bud Light Lime,
All right, well,
all Bud
folks.
Light Lime-A-Rita,
Well, on that note, we're going to
OE.
go ahead and we will wrap it up until maybe next week where we'll be back again. Short episode, like I said, but thanks for hanging out with us for this brief little time, getting your beer news in. And until next week, I hope I can taste my beer again.